Should we wait till this class gets done? All right, let's get this thing started. Welcome, everybody, to the 2018 3-Minute Thesis. All right. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's get this thing underway. I'm Clint Young, Strategic Communications Project Manager for WSU Marketing and Communications, and I will be the moderator today. And what we'd like to start off with is a brief introduction, an overview of where 3-Minute Thesis came from and how it came to be here at Washington State University. So the 3-Minute Thesis, or 3MT, as it's called for short, is a research communication competition developed by the University of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia. Ph.D. competitors must present a compelling oration on their thesis and its significance. To throw a wrench into things, the competitors only have 3 minutes and not a second more. This isn't like your political debates where they call the time and then they keep going, they keep talking. No, if our competitors talk past the 3 minutes, they will be disqualified. The 3MT is not an exercise in dumbing down research, but challenges students to consolidate their ideas and research discoveries so they can be presented to a non-specialist audience. This event came to the university after College of Education Dean Mike Trevison instituted it at a college level. Provost Bernardo was invited to be a judge for that event and immediately saw what Dean Trevison and other college personnel had: the high value in a researcher being able to appropriately articulate their research to a lay audience. And while Provost Bernardo is back as a judge, we'd like to recognize him here today. And while the College of Education continues to administer the event, it is also through the generosity of the provost that we could financially incentivize this event. So, what do the winners receive? Well, today's winner will receive a $3,000 travel grant for a research conference or conferences of their choice. The runner-up will receive a $1,500 travel grant, and third place will receive a travel grant of $500. But win, lose, or draw, all our competitors can put this on their CV. And that is a big win as they're going out there with those CVs. So all other information regarding the 3-minute thesis can be found at 3mt.wsu.edu. Now, we would like to introduce today's competitors. And I will I will introduce them in the order that they will present. If they will please stand as their name is called, and please help me in introducing these competitors. From the College of Arts and Sciences, studying psychology, we have Stephen Homaika. From the Voiland College of Engineering and Architecture, studying mechanical engineering, please help me welcome Deshare Banerjee. From the Edward R. Murrow College of Communication, studying media and health promotion, Wen Chao. From the College of Pharmacy, studying pharmaceutical sciences, we have Mohamedul Haq. From the College of Agricultural, Human, and Natural Resource Sciences, studying plant pathology, we have Chidi Agarwal. From the College of Veterinary Medicine, studying neuroscience, we have none other than Naomi Wallace. From the Carson College of Business, studying hospitality, business management, give it up for Yahoo! And last but not least, from the College of Education, studying cultural sciences and social thought in education, help me welcome Jeremiah Sataraka. All right, at this time, we'd also like to recognize Jeff Hoyt, who won the competition at WSU Vancouver. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend this event today. We congratulate each of these competitors for being here and wish them well. And in the performing arts, in the spirit of performing arts, say, break a leg. All right. So let's go through our judges real quick, because without the judges and without the competitors, we wouldn't have a competition. But we'd like to thank the judges for their time coming here. These 9 individuals seated here in the front row are individuals who are extremely well-schooled and well-respected. That's probably why I wasn't asked to be a judge, just a moderator. They have a rubric with a variety of things for which they are judging, but all include an ability to present well. And you can also find this rubric at 3mt.wsu.edu, the website. So we have faculty and staff not currently connected to any college, and in the spirit of town-gown collaboration, something Dr. Schultz and Kirk and Noel have emphasized since they moved to Pullman, we also have community leaders as judges here today. So let's get them introduced by alphabetical order by last name. Please stand when your name is said. Ray Acuna Luna from Cougs Rise as part of Student Success Initiatives. We have Joanna Bailey, City of Pullman Library Services Director. Welcome. Dan Bernardo, WSU Provost. Matthew Jeffries, Director of WSU's Gender Identity Expression and Sexual Orientation Resource Center. Adam Lincoln, Pullman City Supervisor. Ann Parks, Pullman City Council Member. Molly Schatzko, Executive Director of Marketing for WSU Marketing and Communications. Anna Maria Shannon, Interim Director for the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. And by the way, the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art has a grand opening on April 6th, starting at noon. Anna Maria, we will bill you for that plug after the event is over. Last but certainly not least, Kirk Schultz, president of Washington State University. All right, and without further ado, let's have our competitors, starting with Stephen Hobaika.
My research interests focus on how inclusion in school curricula can positively affect the health outcomes of minority students. So specifically with this research project, I was interested in the experiences of sexual minority students, so students without a heterosexual orientation, and how they experienced heteronormative sex education. Sex education becomes heteronormative when it is only geared towards heterosexual students in the classroom, therefore excluding anyone that does not identify as heterosexual from the curriculum. If we all think about our own experiences in sex education, it would be unsurprising to find that most of us would remember not really hearing about sexual minority identities in our curricula, and also not really hearing about their sexual behaviors whatsoever, if at all, maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit. To study this, what I did was I interviewed a bunch of sexual minorities here in Pullman and asked them about their experiences and also how these experiences might have affected their more long-term outcomes. So as we see in that first box, they did describe experiencing a heteronormative sex education environment. They described that this type of environment led to having insufficient and sometimes stigmatizing knowledge about their sexual identities when they left the classroom. They then described that this type of environment actually contributed to a bunch of negative consequences for them. So as we can see on the first bullet point, risky sexual behaviors, like not using a condom during sex or not knowing how to have safe sex as a sexual minority, sexual hesitance, sexual violence, and also some internalized stigma and self-blame and shame regarding the identity that they have. Moving forward, as we can see, it says poor health outcomes. They describe that these types of consequences contributed to a bunch of poor health outcomes, both psychologically and physically. So things like depression, anxiety, suicidality, and also increased rates of STIs. To help combat this because of the exclusion they experienced in curricula, they described accessing and utilizing their own resources because they didn't receive it in the classroom or at home. So talking to other queer people about this, seeking out information online or going to college and taking college courses, or in some cases, also engaging in some trial and error sexual experiences. So trying things out and then learning from some pretty harsh consequences like those STIs that we talked about. Because they were excluded in education, if we move on to the second flowchart, they described what an inclusive sex ed would look like. Be super easy to implement. So firstly, it would make all identities visible, and it would also normalize all the identities in the classroom. It would contain accurate and applicable information for every student in the room moving forward. With that, we could expect positive consequences. The participants described safer sexual behaviors, healthy, consensual relationships, a sense of community, general resilience against health problems, and also confidence within their own identities moving forward. And with this, we could expect a bunch of improved health outcomes psychologically and physically. This project does not argue for a cause and effect relationship, but rather argues for more inclusion in all curricula, regardless of a student's sexual identity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, for our competitors, just to let you know, we have the clock right here. We'll see if we can get this synced with the big screen, but that clock is that clock is the clock to go by. All right. Next up, we have Deshari Banerjee.
One in every 3 women and 1 in every 5 men across the United States suffers from the risk or having an osteoporotic fracture over the age of 50, leading to 1 fracture every 3 seconds across the country. Bone contains 2 different cells, one the osteoblasts, which are the bone building cells, and the osteoclasts, which are the bone killing cells. In a normal human being, these 2 cells will work in tandem to keep up with the structure of the bone. But in patients with osteoporosis, the osteoclasts, the bone killing cells, work a lot faster than the osteoblasts, reducing the bone density and ultimately a fracture. To cope up with this, a variety of different companies like Zimmer, Biotech, came up with different joint replacement implants, which varies according to age and gender and activities that you are expected to perform at that age. But are these good enough to take into account all the diversities each patient come up with? No, right? Thus, 3D printing makes it feasible to fabricate any kind of joint replacement implants, taking into account the unusual anatomy or injury each patient might have. My research includes the development of these ceramic implants and ceramic-coated metallic implants for the bone tissue engineering applications. Also, it's pretty intuitive that once we go for these surgeries, we will be asked to take in a lot of different drugs, like steroids for improvement of the bone regeneration, or antibiotics for helping with the antibacterial effects. But these drugs, once taken orally, goes into the stomach and gets broken down by different acids, gets absorbed into the blood, losing its activity. And hence, we are recommended to take lot higher dosages of drugs than what we actually need, causing a variety of different side effects like nausea, vomiting, and then again different weight gains. So another aspect of my research includes the incorporation of natural medicines like aloe vera, which helps with bone regeneration process, or garlic, which would help with the wound healing process. Once into effect, these implants will not only help the patients with osteoporosis, but will also be able to help the younger patients who go for these implants and different kind of athletes who go for these implants as early as their 20s, reducing the effects of revision surgeries and also the side effects. Thank you.
I can hold it by myself.
Keep it on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Wenjia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wen. I'm from the College of Communication, and my topic is corporate social responsibility and health promotion. Let me start with a question. Why corporate social responsibility is so important today? Because corporations need to bear some responsibilities for solving the worldwide problems, such as human disease and environmental problems. By conducting those CSR campaigns, corporations can use CSR to promote social initiatives, build good brand images, and sell more products. In your daily life, you may see a lot of CSR advertisement from famous brands such as Starbucks, Coca-Cola, and Tom's Shoes. So my research is interested in the question, how could we craft effective CSR advertisement to target audience? There are 2 different types of message framing strategies have been widely used in the industry. One is help other. The other one is help self. Help other appeal refers to the message that highlights supporting the social cause. You can help the well-being of others. In contrast, help self refers to the idea supporting the social cause can benefit to your own success and your own health. So which one is more persuasive? To answer this question, we conduct an experiment. We randomly assign participants into one of the 2 conditions. We ask the participant to watch a CSR advertisement with either help other or help self appeal. And we found some interesting findings. And both of the advertisements were sponsored by a pharmaceutical company. First, we found that status motive, which refers to the idea that people have the stronger desire to gain higher reputation and higher status in the society, is one of the key factors that drive consumers to buy pro-social product after viewing the CSR advertisement. Second, we found that younger people, they are more likely to support help other appeal in the CSR advertising with regard to the health topics. Most importantly, we found that when people were under age 48, when they are in the relatively low status motives, they are more likely to support a CSR advertisement with help other appeal. In other words, if you want to target the younger generations who don't have stronger desire for status, you probably want to use help other appeal. In the end, to summary, if you want to persuade your audience, please make sure that you know who they are. Thank you so much.
Okay. So just a quick reminder for all our competitors: make sure that the slide on the screen is correct before you start going. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. So next up, Mohamedul Haq.
Do you know? A small flap of a wing of a butterfly in New Mexico can cause a hurricane in China. It may not happen tomorrow, but the phenomenon is real. If that butterfly doesn't flap its wing at the right time, at the right space, a hurricane won't happen. It's a more rigorous way to explain an idea that a small change can make a big difference. Even a small, teeny, tiny change at the cellular level of human body can be detrimental over time. In our lab, we're working on one of the oldest diseases of mankind, where a small change in the cellular level can trigger this disease. It's rheumatoid arthritis, which I will refer as RA. RA is an autoimmune disease. That means your body is attacking itself. Rheumatoid arthritis starts with very small inflammation, which leads to bone destruction, systemic complications, and finally, early death. Sad but true. Still, we don't have any cure for this disease, and the current treatment options are really toxic. In search of new therapies, my research comes in. In our lab, I screened hundreds of small molecules in the joint tissue of RA patients and compared with a healthy person. Interestingly, we found one protein called GBP, which is almost 75% less in rheumatoid arthritis patients. That made us think that if we can restore this protein in RA patient, we may cure this disease. To prove our idea, at first, we took cells from the joint tissue of RA patients. Those tissues are mainly responsible for inflammation. Then, to prove the function of our protein, at first, we took our protein out of the cell by a method called protein knockdown and found more inflammation in those cells. On the other hand, when we take abundance of the protein and put it back into the cell, it caused less inflammation as well as less tissue destruction and without any toxicity. That made us really excited about the prospect of GBP as a novel protein for rheumatoid arthritis treatment. At this point, we're working on animal model, and our ultimate goal is to repackage this protein in a form of drug and deliver it to patient with optimum efficacy and less side effect. Now, people always talk about the big impact of their research. Let me think about mine. If I consider the severity of the disease and the duration this disease has been affecting the whole mankind, my research so far is nothing but a small flap of a wing of a butterfly. However, in our lab, we are trying to flap our wings such a way that someday it will make a big difference in the history of rheumatoid arthritis. And the phenomena, it will be real. Thank you.
All right, Chidi Agarwal. There you go.
Just, okay. Before I introduce you all to my research, I want to ask you all a question. How many of you like eating hummus? almost all of you, right? So this rising domestic demand for hummus is the main reason why we grow chickpeas in United States. And almost about 2/3 of chickpea production comes from Palouse. Like other crops, chickpea production is constrained by many diseases, and these diseases are caused by many bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Pythium ultimum is one of the soil-borne plant pathogen that causes seed rot, root rot, and seed damping off in chickpeas. For decades, this Pythium ultimum has been effectively controlled by a fungicide called metalaxyl. But recently, we have observed that fungicide metalaxyl has been losing its effectiveness towards it. Why? Because Pythium ultimum in Palouse soil has developed resistance towards it. Although there are other fungicides available in the market, but the use of those fungicides adds additional cost to the growers. Thus, my goal is to provide an alternative solution to these growers by developing some resistant chickpea varieties. For this purpose, I tested several chickpea varieties and cultivars by inoculating them with the fungus Pythium ultimum in the greenhouse. And I found that the dark-colored chickpeas, the daisy types, were resistant towards this fungus, while the light-colored Kabuli chickpeas were susceptible to this fungus. Since my goal was to develop new resistant varieties, it was necessary for me to find the genes that are involved in the disease-resistant trait. So I used a sophisticated technique called quantitative trait loci mapping. And with the help of this technique, I was able to find several genes and their locations in the genome that were responsible for disease-resistant trait in these resistant chickpea varieties. Another aspect of my research was to find when, where, and how much these genes are expressed in the presence and in the absence of the disease. So I used another sophisticated technique called transcriptomic analysis. Thus, my research work will help to identify new sources of resistance in chickpeas towards this fungus, and which ultimately will help the breeders to provide more knowledge to initiate the process to develop more chickpea varieties in the future. Thank you.
Next up, Naomi Wallace.
You probably don't think much about the length of a day. Days were 24 hours long when you grew up, and they were 24 hours long as the first humans appeared. Nearly every organism on our planet has developed some way to anticipate this predictable cycle caused by the turning of the Earth. In fact, each individual cell in your body contains a tiny genetic clock ticking away at every moment, directing the daily or circadian timing of everything you do. Our circadian rhythms anticipate the best time to eat and the best time to sleep. They tell our blood pressure to rise and fall and our body temperature to warm and cool. Each day, the cells of our body perform an intricate dance set to the rhythm of our turning Earth. And we've memorized the steps over so many millennia that we hardly even notice until the rhythm misses a beat. Over time, humans began to fight this natural rhythm. We lit fires, then made light bulbs, then airplanes and cell phones, and suddenly a huge portion of humanity is living without the rhythms that shaped our evolution. Most of us are keenly aware of jet lag, that sickly, strange feeling you get from traveling across time zones. But more insidious is something known as social jet lag. Now, how many of you stayed up later and slept in later last weekend than you did during this week? Congratulations, you've disrupted your circadian clocks. Disrupted clocks are associated with obesity, diabetes, autism, depression. I could take up all 3 minutes just listing the problems that come alongside a broken biological clock. The problem is that almost all of this research has been done only in adult subjects. As a result, we know nearly nothing about what happens when individuals are disrupted during development when they're at their most vulnerable. For my thesis, I use constantly changing light cycles to cause circadian disruption in mice during critical periods like pregnancy, birth, and adolescence. My goal is to learn what this does to their brains. Specifically, I'm interested in how disruption might influence the systems that feed hungry, growing brains, and how this could change their brains and behavior later in life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Babies don't do shift work, they don't fly around the world, and they don't go out clubbing on the weekends. So why should we care? We should care because of the nurse who continues working night shifts as a fetus grows inside of her. We should care because of the tiny infants living out their first days in the neonatal intensive care unit, where the lights are always on. And we should care because of the teenagers up until 3 a.m. glued to a bright cell phone. When humans made light, we opened up a whole new world. We will not and should not return to the dark. Instead, we must apply our ingenuity to protect ourselves from the same innovations that will make our future bright.
All right, next up, Yahoo.
Let's talk business. Everyone here is a customer. So we basically live in a business world. I'm from College of Business, so I'm one of the business people. We business people are actually trying to change the business world by using relationship marketing. It means we care about our customers. We want to build and maintain a long-term relationship with all of our customers. We love customers, and we want them to love us back. Since it's relationship marketing, let's think about relationships. In relationships, is it always true that if we care, we give, we put efforts into the relationship, the other person will always love us back? Is it true? Unfortunately, no. So why would we business people think all of our customers will love us back? So my research reveals that in general, customers have 3 types of attitudes toward relationship marketing. Emotional attitude. Those people, they could really love us back. They genuinely want to build and maintain a relationship with us. They are more committed to the relationship and they are more loyal. Utilitarian attitude. Those people, they don't really care about the relationship. They only care about the cost and benefit of the relationship. As long as there are benefits, they stay with us in the relationship. Oppositional attitude, the last category. Those people, they don't believe in relationship marketing. It's just a lie. You guys are cold-hearted business people. You just want to trick me, trap me in the relationship, lock me in there. So they hate us naturally. It's even more interesting after a service failure. After the exact same service failure, emotional people, they feel betrayed. They feel hurt. They think, how could you do this to me? You have to give me an explanation, and I want a revenge. Sounds familiar, huh? It's like a breakup. So our best customers become our worst enemies. Utilitarian people, they don't really have negative emotions after service failure. They don't even feel angry. Why? Because they don't really care. They think, oh, the company is so incapable. It is incapable of providing good services, then I will end the relationship with it and switch to another company. End of story. Oppositional people, they think, I am right. I know it. They're so greedy. They always want to take advantage of me. Now, you know what? I will not let them take advantage of me. I will fight. I will complain. I will sabotage their business. And I will tell everyone how terrible they are. So our customers are so different. We do care about our customers as business people. So we want to know their attitudes and provide good services. At the end of the day, we want to change the business world into a better world. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last up, Jeremiah Sataraka.
Imagine this. You're with a group of highly skilled navigators navigating the vast oceans. You've mastered the science of environmental observation and you're guided by the celestial patterns. Now imagine passing down that knowledge to future generations and empowering them to develop their identities as explorers, adventurers, and scientists. Now imagine a second scenario. You're part of a thriving civilization and you're proud of your kingdom's leadership, especially your queen. Then one day all of that changes when a group of foreigners decide to overthrow your kingdom. They force you to hand over your land and they claim it as their own. Imagine future generations being forced to forget their languages, their identities, and being killed off in the millions by unknown diseases by these colonizers. Now, these scenarios are part of a true story that we know very little about, a group of people called Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, or Oceanians. The first scenario tells the story of a long-forgotten history that Oceanians made centuries ago. They planted the seeds of oceanic communities across more than 20,000 Pacific islands thousands of years before Europeans discovered them. Now, the second scenario tells this true story of how U.S. businessmen and military overthrew the Kingdom of Hawaii. Now, when we think of Hawaii, we think of a beautiful tropical paradise. You know, you're on the beach with the favorite beverage on your hand, getting your tan on. But we often forget that Hawaiians are native peoples whose lives and cultural identities were almost destroyed by the U.S., and that fight continues today. Now, these stories are part of a larger project that I have been working on, and that is a new theoretical framework called Oceanic critical race theory, and it builds off of two fields, critical race theory and Pacific studies. Now, the goal of Oceanic critical race theory is threefold. One is to humanize us as a people, instead of relegating us to images as a savage, the warrior, the athlete, or even the exotic other. Two is to address the systemic injustices that we face as a people in areas like healthcare, immigration, and especially education. And three is to reimagine a future, one that's hopeful and exciting and rooted in a past that recognizes how powerful and intelligent we are, not just how powerful and athletic we are, which don't get me wrong, we're pretty athletic. Now, while discussions about theory are often met with disinterest or intimidation, theory is important and it matters. Theory is not just about abstract data or formulas. It's about the hows and whys we ask about anything in life. And the answers and explanations that we have for those questions are theories. So Oceanic critical race theory is an attempt at an explanation to ask why all these injustices and why does the U.S. know so little about us? It is my hope that Oceanic critical race theory will address these issues and work towards social justice for our communities, an extremely diverse, beautiful, and intelligent group of people, if I do say so myself.
All right, thank you, competitors. That was fantastic. One more time, give it up for these presenters today. All right. So now we're going to let the judges compile their scores, and we'll be back shortly with that. While they're compiling their scores, I do have a couple thank yous that I skipped from the beginning. So I want to give a special thank you to Brandon Chapman, who is not a judge, but has administered the 3-minute thesis for the university in addition to his core college duties for the last 4 years. He's also an all-around great guy and one of the best communicators. He gave me this script to read from. We also want to thank Vice Provost Kelly Ward and Graduate School Assistant Dean Jenny LeBeau for the time and effort they also put toward making this event occur. And finally, John Manwaring, Chris Lavoie, and Scott Vick for their tremendous help in getting us the space and audiovisual needs set up. Let's get an applause for all those who helped make this happen today. Yeah. How about this location, huh? Spark Atrium? I'm still looking for the trees. Okay, cool. I'm done with the jokes now, so. So mascots at the different campuses, that's fun. End of joke. Yeah. I can throw out some dad jokes. Everybody likes dad jokes, right? Did you know if you were a track or cross country coach and you had a bunch of runners named Aaron, you'd be running errands all the time? No? Okay. Here's a dad joke from the 90s. Anybody around in the 90s? I know they weren't, but oh yeah? Some 90s? Okay. So, what instrument does Arnold Schwarzenegger play? I don't know, but it's not a tuba. That's a Clint Young original dad joke right there. Patent pending. Yeah, I knew that. I was supposed to have jokes prepared along with the script. Well, jokes. So how you guys feeling? You guys feeling good? Yeah? So who won? Who won? Who do you think? Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner. It can go on your CV, so you're all a winner with the CV. But no, there's going to be winners and losers as well today. Yeah, sorry. We'll announce the winners. You'll have to figure out who the losers are.
Can the students tell us who their PIs are or their mentors?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's go through. We're going to have each student give us a name of their mentor and one amazing thing that they've done for you.
All right, well, my name is Jeremiah, College of Education. My mentor is the one, the only, Dr. Paula Gross-Price, over there in the corner. And one amazing thing, I mean, I'm here because of her, so that's an amazing thing for me.
Hi, I'm Yao Hu from College of Business. My mentor is Dr. Jenny Kim. She's just over there to support me. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mahamadul Haq from College of Pharmacy, Spokane. And my mentor is Dr. Ahmed. And the good thing about him is today he told me not to do work in the lab. So that's a big thing. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Wen. I'm from the College of Communication, and my mentor, my advisor, Dr. Alex Tan, he's here. And he's the most humble man that I have ever met in my life. And I really appreciate your guidance. And I'm going to have my oral defense after this 3 minutes thesis. Wish me good luck.
So I'm Naomi. I'm from neuroscience. My advisor is Ilya Karatsorios, and he's not here today because he's helping out someone else because he cares about them more than his own students. But luckily, my awesome coworkers are here to rep, so.
I'm Steven. I'm from the Department of Psychology, and my mentor is Dr. Paul Kwan. He is in the back. Paul is amazing. Easily one of the most supportive people I've ever met in my entire life, both as a colleague and mentor and also as a friend. He's been incredible to me since day one. Thanks, Paul.
Hi, I'm Dashari from the Walden College. I'm studying mechanical engineering. So cheers to my advisor, Dr. Shushmita Bose is here, and my amazing co-workers who are here to support me as well. They're right there in the first 2 rows.
Hi, my name is Chiti Agarwal. Unfortunately, my advisor can't come, but my co-advisor, Dr. Hanu Papu, is here. And my lab mates are here too to support me. Yep. And, yeah.
All right, great suggestion from the crowd. Any other suggestions of the next thing we should do while we're waiting for the scores to be compiled? To what? Let's see. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the other great events coming up here for Showcase. Obviously, the 3-minute thesis you're participating in right now. Fantastic. Later this afternoon, 3:45, distinguished faculty address. And then tomorrow, we have GPSA research exposition going on, along with the academic showcase and the calendar of events, showcase.wsu.edu. Go find out all that's going on for the remainder of the week. And I think we have it. I think we have the results. All right. So, no more stalling. All right, so immediately afterward, we would like to feel free to congratulate all of our competitors today. We do want to take lots and lots of photos with them, so come down, congratulate them, give them hugs, and then we're going to do photos afterwards. So, and before we open up the envelopes, I'd like to have Provost Dan Bernardo come up here and present the awards to, I'll tell you what, let's take over here, be on this side. All right. So, in fact, why don't you, so what we're going to do is we are going to, in no particular order, announce the top 3 winners and have them join us here on the stage. We have Mohamedul Haq. We have Jeremiah Sataraka. And Naomi Wallace. All right, now we will announce the 3rd place winner. Reminder, for the 3rd place winner, we have a $500 research conference travel grant. Thank you. So, we'll have drum roll for 3rd place. Mohamedul Haq. Yeah. All right, and then this is the next one.
Don't we have 2nd place?
Yeah, well, so we'll read this one, and then they'll know who the 2nd place is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I want to remind the 2nd place winner will receive a $1,500 research conference travel grant, and the winner will receive a $3,000 research grant, travel research grant, and the winner of this year's 2018 3-minute thesis is Naomi Wallace. Good job. Good job. So Jeremiah, you are a 2nd place winner. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. Good job. All right, yes, let's give it up one last time. Top 3 and all of our competitors. Thank you for coming. This concludes the 2018 3-minute thesis. Have a great day. Go Cougs. you.